Hey everybody, welcome back to We Are Podcast. This is Camp Slash Horrorcast Season 2, Episode 6, The Thing. If this is your first time checking out the podcast network, we appreciate it. Please head over to your favorite podcast app, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, or iTunes, and give We Are Podcast Network a like. And just a reminder, Camp Slash Horrorcast is a weekly live videocast available on Twitch and YouTube. We go live every Monday at 8 p.m. Central Time at twitch.tv/WeArePodcastNetwork and youtube.com/WeArePodcastNetwork. As the Camp Slash Horrorcast is live, I will not be editing the audio for this podcast. So what you saw live is what you get here. Please come watch the stream every Monday at 8 p.m. And if you want to see the previous streams, go check out our Twitch or YouTube channel. And for a full list of future films we'll be watching, please head over to Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at /WeArePodcast. All links can be found in the description. And with that, on to the Horrorcast.
Camp Slash Horrorcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to Camp Slash Horrorcast, where we talk horror movies from the past, live on Twitch every Monday at 8 p.m. Central Time. I am your head camp counselor, Duck. I'm here with other head camp counselors. First on the roster, we have Javi. Maybe we at war with maybe we are at war with Norway. Maybe we are at war with Norway. Me. Javi, how are you doing today, sir?
You still can't say my last name, can you?
It's Barris.
Oh, no, but yes, it's good to hear.
Fares. I've only known you for years. Why can't I say your last name? Next, we have comedian Bobby. That's not a dog, it's some sort of thing. Frisky. Bobby, how are you doing today, sir?
Good. Glad to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Fuck yeah, thank you for joining us. Next, we got Jay. It's weird and pissed off, whatever it is, McClintock. Jay, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well.
Fuck yeah. Next, we've got David. Anyone touches me, and we fucking go, Jessup. David, how are you, sir?
I am awesome. I'm excited.
Yes, can't wait to talk the movie The Thing. This was David's pick, so we're going to have a blast discussing this. Next, we got Austin. Mac wants the flamethrower. McDonald, Austin, how are you?
Good, and I'm not in Australia.
And finally, we've got Kurt fucking Russell. We got Jake. Why don't we wait here for a little while and see what happens, Pinkston? Jake, how are you, sir?
Just capital. I'm ready to get talking about this.
Talking some Kurt Russell. I know you are a fan.
Like, I gotta say, I have a little bit of a bone to pick with those intros.
Yeah, what was your bone?
Not only did you mispronounce my last name, you also stammered through my intro. So I feel
sorry.
like I got the raw end of the stick on that one. I don't even want to redo it this one.
No. Javi, you get another one, okay?
Not staying.
All right, ready? Javi, I just can't believe any of this voodoo bullshit, Byres. Is that better?
My man. Yes.
There you go.
You know who Javi is? Javi's the Fuchs of our cast tonight. He just doesn't get a good death.
No.
Hey, where the fuck is Ethan, the other guy that didn't see this movie?
He is not here. He sent us a video, though, that I will play a little bit later. He had something else he had to do. So I was super excited.
I've got a girlfriend now.
That's probably what
I
he did.
said. I said the fucking same thing. I was like, that's exactly what it is.
He told me it wasn't, but if it ends up being that, we all understand, I'm sure.
He's gone forever, boys.
Would everyone like to take a shot to Ethan right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we got The Thing, boys. Release date June 25th, 1982, with a running time of 109 minutes. Budget $15 million, only taking in $19.6 million at the North American box office. Synopsis: a research team in
Antarctica.
A research team in Antarctica. Thank you. Is hunted by a shape-shifting alien that assumes the appearance of its victims. Easy squeezy. It's Among Us, the movie, 40 years ago. Or
yeah, no shit.
So, Mogus, who's sus?
History, David. We're gonna pick you first here because this is your choice for your movie. All right, tell us your history with The Thing.
I saw this opening night in West Palm Beach, Florida, packed theater. And let me tell you something, there was almost barf all over the floor. People were heaving. They weren't throwing up, but people were gagging. People left. I felt like I was at one of my early shows where people would just walk. It was just, or my show last weekend. So it was, I almost threw up when the first big gross scene happened. I mean, it just was a movie that was way before its time. And it bombed hard, but I loved it from the get-go. It's my all-time favorite number 2 film right after Alien.
I was gonna say, and there's similarities between the two. I mean, aliens in space, but they might as well be in fucking space because they're in the middle of nowhere and ain't no one coming to save them.
Yeah.
So I would say, so you saw it opening day, you loved it ever since. Is this like a yearly tradition? You watch this or every 6 months?
Dude, I watch Alien and The Thing at least once or twice a year.
Okay, right on. Bobby, we're gonna go to you next. The reason why is David handed it down to you recently. Isn't that correct?
He did, man. I am a admitted sci-fi fan, and somehow my whole life I never saw it until a week ago.
And a John Carpenter fan.
Yeah, love John Carpenter, love his soundtracks. So yeah, I don't know why or how it went that long, but it's in the viewed column now.
Nice. Hopefully you liked it. I will save that. We'll see where you're at. But so you're a fan of John Carpenter and all of his works. Is this one of those ones that bypassed you, or were you waiting for somebody to watch it with?
I wasn't waiting, man. Like, I got to be honest. I love They Live. Like that's my jam. But I just never. I don't know. I just never. And everybody I know has hyped it up. So it's 30 hype. So, it's got that little episode 1 stink on it that it had a lot to live up to.
Yeah. That can be so dangerous too whenever people hype it up. So we'll see what you thought about it here in a minute. I'm wicked curious. Javi, what's your history with John Carpenter's The Thing?
All right, picture it.
President
New Jersey. Javi, 8 years old. February, no school because it's President's Day and you got like 2 days off. And UPN, I can't remember if it was UPN or TBS, they had like for President's Day off, they would do nothing but horror movies. And I remember my Uncle King watched Leviathan with me for the first time, and then and then the very next movie after Leviathan was The Thing. So I saw like 2 pretty good horror movies like back to back, and I fucking love The Thing. And I pretty much blame it for why I'm scared of worms and caterpillars.
You're afraid of worms and caterpillars?
you throw a worm or a caterpillar at me, I'm gonna fucking go running. Well,
I can't, Javi, I can't imagine what they allowed to be showed on television though. Was the movie like a half an hour long? Like, what did they actually show?
They actually showed it all, except the curse.
Wow,
it out.
That's crazy.
That's awesome though. So have you watched this since you were 8 years old? Yeah.
Like, I watch it maybe like once every few years or so. Or like if I was back when I had cable, if it was just on, like, I guess I'm doing this for the next 90 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, totally, dude. This is totally, You chance upon this, boom, you're in. Austin, you got history with the movie, or is this the first time watching it?
No, like most of the movies we watch here, I watched it. I time it perfectly to where I finish the movie and then I come over to my laptop and get on the podcast.
Boom!
Nice.
That's the way to do it.
Nice and fresh.
Right on. We will get your opinions on it here in a second. And then Jay, how about you, sir? I know you're a fan of The Thing.
Yeah, I am. My first experience is similar to Javi's. I probably saw this movie for the first time in like '94. It was on USA. And first time I saw it, I happened to only catch the latter 40 minutes of it. So I literally stopped in right at the interrogation scene.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
So I got to see all the, most of the best parts, I thought. And so and it was like a couple of years later, and I saw it all the way through it. I was like, all right. I dig it.
Right on. Jake, I saved you for last because you were the biggest Kurt Russell fan I know. You are a fan through and through. And so
he's great in everything. He's great in everything.
So what is your history?
I'm probably about 9 or 10 years old. Watching late night cable television. I think it was on the movie channel at the time, whenever that was a fucking thing.
TMC.
Yeah. Scared the fucking piss out of me. Literally. I pissed my bed. And I've been a fan ever since. It was one of the ones that kind of broke me on like, okay, I can watch horror and not be like terrified of it, but it scared the fucking piss out of me, for real.
Right. So you literally peed the bed that night. And
I did up until I was like 26 anyway. Maybe it didn't correlate with the movie. I don't know. Who knows?
The first time I watched this was probably 22 or 23. I was stoned out of my mind. It was my girlfriend Sarah at the time. Me watched it, and it took a while because we had to keep pausing it, go get more stoned, go back, watch more of it, pause it, freak out a little bit, finish the movie, and I barely remember the end of it. But wow, what a trip! And it has stayed the same. Some movies change with time. Every time I watch this movie, it's the exact same fucking experience, and it's just a blast, and I enjoy the hell out of it. And what I noticed this time was a little bit different is the pacing that I absolutely love. The fact that something exciting or crazy happens, you see the thing, and then it's no longer about the thing because the thing is possibly there with them at all times. You don't know.
It's about paranoia.
It's about paranoia. It's about the enclosure. It's about that Antarctica, I said it right this time, thank God, bunker, and how it's enclosed and how they can't go outside of it because it's basically, like I said before, they're in outer space. They might as well be. And you can feel how cold it is. That's what's really important about this movie. You can feel how isolated they are, and they know the enemy is within, and they don't know who it is. And the fact that it keeps you guessing as they tick the people off one at a time, I think that's great. So let's get talking about the movie. Who wants to begin this conversation? Honestly, David, I think we should start with you, of course. What brings you back to the thing over and over again?
It's a combination of several things. Number one, Kurt Russell. For me, it's his best role of all time. The reason why I love his role so much is he doesn't want to be a hero. He's the what's what I'm looking for?
Anti-hero.
Well, I wouldn't say anti-hero. I would say reluctant. He's the reluctant hero.
Like
where he's
Captain
he's just like, fuck, okay, I'll take over. Everyone else is, and his performance is so subtle. And for the first time this weekend, I watched the thing with the commentary with John Carpenter and Kurt Russell, I highly recommend it if you're a fan of this movie, because it's great just listening to Kurt talk. He's so fun to listen to. But what I never knew was they gave him a backstory for McCready. He was a Vietnam helicopter pilot. And he was kind of like took this gig in Antarctica to basically drink his memories away of Vietnam.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, he had PTSD and he was an insomniac.
Yeah, that's why he's up in the cabin by himself drinking. He wants to be left alone, and he just doesn't want anything to deal with that. So you have his performance, and then you have Ennio Morricone, the guy that did the soundtrack. The soundtrack for this movie is amazing. And it's so funny because a lot of people assume it's a John Carpenter soundtrack because it sounds like one. It has that bass dum dum dum. It sounds like a John Carpenter, but it's not. It's Ennio Morricone.
So minimalist also.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's very minimalist. The ominous. It was nominated for a Razzie. But then he recycled some unused material from the score for that movie and won an Oscar for Hateful Eight, which also had Kurt Russell in a snow setting.
Oh my God, that's amazing, dude.
What works about the soundtrack too is the heartbeat bass. It's constantly there and it's constantly looming. And like you said, this is I think it might be the only John Carpenter movie where he doesn't do the soundtrack. The reason they had a long production time on this, they gave him almost a year to produce this film. And he was a director in every sense of the word. He was just like, I have an idea on what we want to do with this movie, but I'm going to allow like the creature effects to go wild and do whatever they want to do. And we'll get more into that later. But this allowed him to be I think this is his most polished film. I really do.
Oh, by far. Well, it's his only like big, or what do you call it? Big movie studio film. Mm-hmm. And it's a shame because he had a 3-movie deal with Universal, but because this bombed so bad, they fired him. And so I would have loved to have seen what Carpenter could have done if this movie would have been successful. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that it just was released right around E.T. And it was just the complete opposite of what America is. Oh my God. So it's a shame. Because if you look at it now, I mean, I would think, and this might just be my personal opinion, I think The Thing is more revered now than E.T. is. I think it has more of a cult following. I think it's more respected. E.T. is a great movie, don't get me wrong.
They took the shotguns out of the cops' hands and put walkie-talkies in them.
Yeah. Oh my God.
What the hell?
It's so bad.
I heard they were going to do that with this movie too. They were going to take all the guns out.
Yeah. Replace it with walkie-talkies.
Call for help the whole time. I like what you said about Kurt Russell being kind of like he's off and he doesn't want to be bothered. He's almost like a cornered dog at a certain point in this movie where he's like, when he's got the dynamite and he's like, I'll blow the whole way up. I don't fucking care. And like, you believe him. You believe that he's 100% ready to blow it up. And then he fucking does. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just want to say one more thing, and then I'll stop talking because I could talk for hours about this. My favorite scene with him, and it's so subtle, is when they bring back the bodies from the Norwegian camp. They open it up, and they're going around. And they talked about this with John Carpenter, how difficult it is to have a shot with 12 people in it. But the camera goes on what's his my brain, man, on McCready. It goes on him, and he starts looking around at everybody. And you can see what he's thinking. And what he's thinking is, does everybody else realize we are in a fucking shit show right now? Yeah. Like he's looking around being like, trying to see if anybody else is recognizing the disaster that they are now in. Okay, I'm done talking.
No, you're fine.
His whole backstory with being a traumatized war vet also explains why there was no reaction to seeing some shit like this either.
Yeah,
they were so just nonchalant about it whenever they first found it out there in the fucking snow, and Fuchs or whoever it was with them, or I forget his name, but he's like, "What the fuck was it? It was burned up, you know?" And he just seemed like, "Get a shovel, let's go."
Let's go, yeah.
We got it.
And originally, his character wasn't to have as much character, but they realized as they got into the production of the movie, basically they hired the 12 cast members and they sat down with the script and they said, what would your character do here? How would your character react here? And they allowed the actors to have a lot more control. Originally, Kurt Russell's character wasn't even going to be that in depth. You know what I mean? They were just going to play a game of 12 little Indians, basically. Can you say that anymore? 12 little Indians and knock them off one at a time. And that was the whole idea behind it. I know, Austin, you're right. I know. I don't think you're allowed to say that. But yeah, I think that's what works about this, because you do, and it's a boys club too. And John Carpenter made it that way on purpose. He said in the original movie, because this is a remake, you know, there were female characters, and he said, I don't know why. He goes, I just wanted to be all guys. Do you know an answer to why, Jake?
He had a female that was supposed to be on part of the cast. It was unnamed who she was, but she got pregnant right before the shot. Before they started shooting, so that's why they didn't have a female on it. But the closest thing that they had a female to was the chess wizard, and that happened to be John Carpenter's ex-wife doing the voice of that.
Oh, that's funny. That is
yeah, Adrienne Barbeau.
Was she in Halloween?
Good on Carpenter, right?
No, Escape from New York.
Yes,
she was in the fog. She was in the fog. She was a huge.
She was in Cannonball Run.
Cannonball Run.
Creep Show.
Oh, sugar, you wouldn't happen to have a driver's license hiding in there, would you?
I fucking love that movie. Yeah. Holy shit.
So what is it for you other guys that this movie works? Is it the suspense, or is it the gore? Is it the mixture?
The practical effects, the suspense.
So how I know this movie is before I ever watched it, Corridor Crew covers it a lot when they talk about special effects and stuff, and they go back to the practical effects used in that, and they've referenced it in several of their episodes. And so I had seen a lot of the scenes before, and the puppetry and just the pieces that the props that they built were just amazing in this movie. And I feel like they really, really hold up. Like I feel like that thing was real, you know, when I was watching it.
I was going to ask, you feel like the practical effects, they put you where you needed to be. So like none of them fell short. I'm interested, Bobby, seeing it for the first time, having it build up for a long time. Did it hold up for you in the practical effects or the movie at all?
Oh, well, I mean, the effects were cool. Like, big Stan Winston fan, so, he can do no wrong. As far as the movie,
it was Rob Bottin.
No, Rob Bottin learned from Stan Winston.
No, Stan Winston did the dog.
Okay, I got you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm in the minority, man. I didn't quite get the movie, and maybe it was just too much hype. But and I'm a Kurt Russell fan, dude. I wanted to have that dude's hair ever since I was a kid. Like, no better Hollywood hair than that guy. And but like two things that struck me. One was I was so pissed off when the movie started because it was people just shooting at the dog from the helicopter. And I don't know if it just clicked for me, actually, y'all talking about it, why. They're like, we're not getting close to this dog. We're going to try and shoot it from far away. We're not going to let it, infect us kind of thing. And that, to me, that's pretty damn clever. But even now, now it's like it could be remade. I know it's a horrible thing to say, but it could be remade just with COVID and masks. Like, who's got COVID? Stick 8 people in a small room and who's got it? Who's the one, But It was entertaining. It probably needs another viewing or two for me to really let it sink in, because definitely like the social aspect and the paranoid aspect of it all is definitely, I mean, it's kind of relevant right now even, so.
Well, also back then, what was kind of relevant too was AIDS was just blowing up. And so the fact that this was something that could kill you, that was in your blood, was really kind of powerful. It was neat watching Bobby watch it though, because like right from the very beginning, he's like, the dog's the thing. No, he's the thing. Like he kept on trying to figure out who the thing was. And then the blood testing scene, watching him jump out of his seat when he tests up.
I will admit, I have not had a jump scare like that since probably fucking Jaws in the theater. Like when everybody
Nice.
That blood scene, I was not ready, man.
They set it up so well. And you know, it's interesting. John Carpenter talked about the fact that it was a big studio movie. He said he never would have been able to do that on like his independent films, that scene, because everything about it, the special effects, the time, everything about it was, you had so many people working on that scene. He never could have done it on an independent film.
And what I love about that scene too is immediately after, the person, I can't remember the names of the characters, the guy who is the thing, he begins the transformation immediately. He's like, well,
Palmer.
jig's up, I don't care.
Yeah, Palmer.
It's so good. And he turns into the Venus flytrap headed thing or whatever that is. And that's what I love about the creature effects. Was I was watching a documentary, and the guy who came up with it, Jake just said his name, who came
Rob Bottin.
His idea was to have the thing was amorphous. It doesn't have a form, but it can turn into any creature it's simulated from any other planet. So when you're seeing it's the head with the legs and the eyeballs coming up, that's a creature that it found on another planet. Whenever you're seeing it with the weird biohunter worms coming out of it, the dog form, it's because that was a creature. It was on another planet.
Blair explained that also. He's like, you see that? That's not a dog. Like his little cutscenes, which by the way, Wilford Brimley fucking killed it.
Brimley,
so
come on,
good.
not Venice.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
I'm better now.
Yeah, it's so fun. Hey, man, come on. I promise, I'm not gonna.
I'm better now.
Well, if he had his diabetes and diabetes testing supplies, he probably would have had a little less of a hard time. And he even said himself, "I'm better now." Let's go make a movie about old people doing a lot of cool shit. And they did.
With more aliens.
With more aliens.
What were you gonna say, Bobby? You're trying to.
Brimley's in two of my favorite movies ever, man. The China Syndrome and The Firm. Like he's brutal.
The Natural. I loved him in that. Also.
The Ewok Adventure. Without a doubt. The hits.
Is that
keep on coming.
That's not Brimley.
He's
the Han
Solo of that movie.
Yes,
like
it is.
He is the lead.
Yes.
And he kicks a lot of ass in that movie. He really does. But I could tell he learned a lot of those moves from his time on The Thing. Because I mean, he was the voice of reason. He totally was.
Yeah.
He was.
So shooting at the dog, what are the Swedes trying to say at that point?
The Norway, the regions.
Norwegian.
That's why he put them in quotes.
They're Swedes.
I heard
that's what Matt keeps calling them Swedes.
I heard a theory that this movie was screened. I don't know if it was true or not, but I heard a theory that this movie was screened, and originally they had the translations in, and the audiences were like, "Why would you tell us? Why would you tell us immediately that the dog is bad?
Yeah.
No, keep that out of there. It'll make everyone hate them, but then later on go, oh, they were right." And I thought that was a brilliant choice. If it's true, it could be bullshit, but that's what I heard.
Well, the sequel movie made in the early 2000s is about the Norwegians. What the heck was that? Has anyone seen the terrible prequel movie?
Yes.
Hard pass.
Yeah,
Hard
it's
pass.
awful.
Yeah,
awful.
Not good.
Not good.
Fucking well. The thing that I hate about it, well, multiple things. And if you guys ever get a chance, I think Jake posted it. There's a great YouTube video showing the practical effects they made for the 2011 The Thing. And then some dickhead producer was like, "Hey man, we got to do CGI, bro."
CGI.
And it just fucked it all up. But the main thing is just take away special effects out of it. All it was basically a remake of this version. You know,
It was a soft reboot is what they labeled it.
Yeah.
Did you know that in the remake or the reboot or whatever that was, they actually had practical effects for all of it? and the studio went in
Yeah.
and
They
covered
just
it up.
said that.
Oh shit! I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's okay.
I heard that they had practical effects
Yeah,
all
it's okay.
like laid out,
My bad.
and then
I-
some
I-
jerk
I feel
who was head off and
Guys,
said,
I
"You
My
had
gotta have
computer cut
computers."
out for a minute. Everything froze. I'm sorry.
Now I feel like a woman. No one's paying attention to me. No one's listening to me. Thanks.
That was awesome.
That's
That was so
awesome.
sincere, Austin. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Did it really cut out, man? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay.
I think Austin was just negging me. Did you read the game? Because I'm pretty sure he's good right now.
It's mystery.
Yeah.
That's mystery.
Yeah,
right
you were
there.
just you were negging me, and now Austin, I want to fuck you. So it worked.
He can't stop
Weird.
thinking about you.
Yeah.
It's working, boys. It's working.
Why didn't Austin just listen to what I said? Maybe I should pay attention to him. Here, let me uncross my arms and put and tap my hands on my knee and look into his eyes.
You're gonna drive by
Never-
McDonald's
Dude, this-
later and
this
see
is
him
like-
and think of Austin.
I know what's going on
build.
the highlight reel.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Build, break, build, baby.
Yeah.
So let's go back to talking to Bobby brought up the paranoia, and I love that. That was the one thing that kind of stuck out to you in the movie. But that is the biggest key aspect of why this movie works, is because you can see pretty quickly how they turn against each other. And you can actually, they never say it specifically who's teaming up or clicking up, but you can see it within their interactions. And it's kind of cool because if you go back and watch it again, you can see the people who are the thing in the way they're talking, the way they're interacting with each other. They're just like, well, maybe that person is the thing. And like they're nudging, but it's so subtle that you don't really cue into it on your first viewing because everyone's kind of mysterious. Go ahead, Jake. What were you thinking?
For the first time I watched it, I thought I knew for sure that Clark was the first infected because he was the dog.
He's a red herring.
And yes, and I know Richard Mazur and the way he acts. He was the fucking dad in License to Drive, okay? And I know how the guy talks, and he just talked weird, and he sounded weird. Like he's like, "Hey, why don't you put this one up with the rest?" He's like, "Yeah, I guess I should do that," you know. And it seemed off. And they showed the scene where the dog is walking down the hallway past the other dogs before all this happened, and you see the shadow. And John Carpenter didn't want anybody to guess who it was from the shadow, so he had somebody completely different offset sit in to create the shadow in that scene. But I mean, at 9-10 years old, I was thinking I was fucking Sherlock Holmes here putting this shit together, and it just total misdirect, you know. And I thought for sure Gary was whenever that shit was going down, and I thought Copper was like everybody that I thought was not, and I think they did a great job in doing that.
Well, you know what? There's a scene that gives a telltale sign as to who the thing was during the blood thing. It's when McCready's trying to come in. You have Norris and you have Palmer are both all of a sudden super aggressive and wanting to kill McCready.
Yeah.
And so that right there was the clue that those two guys were now the thing.
But so did Clark. Clark got shot
Clark
in the head. Yeah.
But remember when McCready was trying to break in and you have Palmer's like, let's just fry him right now. And then Norris is like, okay, we gotta go. This is it. So it was like, it was those two things were like things. Those two guys were infected, and now they were trying to push to kill McCready.
Good pull.
I didn't know what to say after that. Yeah, as you were saying that, I was getting sucked back into the movie because I
would like to hear because Bobby didn't like it, so fuck him. Austin, what did you think since you had never seen?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I love movies with tension, and this movie just from the beginning. I was like Bobby though. At the very beginning, I was like, "Why are we trying to fucking shoot this dog? What the hell is this?" And I was a little taken out of it at first, and then I kind of, you kind of catch on. It's like, okay, obviously there's something up with the dog, and I love this whole movie, man. It kept me on the edge of my seat the whole time. Normally jump scares don't get me. I'm not really a big fan of jump scares, but there was a great one where it was dark. I don't know if it was one of the times when the lights had gone out and one of the characters was walking up to the doorway, and then all of a sudden it just passes by real quick. Yes. And I jumped. I actually jumped. It was great.
I hear baby. Is there a baby?
No, it's my cat.
No.
Is it possessed by the thing? What is going on?
It wants to podcast. So.
The dog transformation, right? How great is that? And it lasts so long, and they show so many different metamorphoses of the dog and how it's attacking the other dogs and how it's going through the different phases, and you get the idea of why the creature that they unbury at the Norwegian Swedes compound looks the way it does. It's so cool, and like it's just like, how do they not hear these people transforming, because it's so violent when it's transforming? So
well, I think there's a difference between transforming and infecting. I think that's the difference. I think infecting, when the thing infects something, I think it might be different than transforming. And I do want to do a big shout out to that dog, because what a fucking actor that dog was, man.
Yeah.
That long scene where it's walking down, and it talks about this in the commentary. John Carpenter was so worried because mostly animals will look into the camera lens. And he said that dog was perfect. It was so good.
The one that was running away, they painted to look like that dog.
That's right. Yeah. Yep. And by the way, man, the thing about watching movies like this, no CGI, all of those helicopter shots, all fucking real. You know, that helicopter's right there above the dog. Like I think they called them Bushmen. There were people in Alaska that would fly helicopters like that. They said they were fucking insane. How
Was
the
this
shit they would do
in Alaska?
Yeah, it was filmed in Alaska.
Okay.
Yeah.
And LA.
Is there ever any a reference to the timeline of events? Because like when Wilford Brimley was locked up, like how much fucking time did he have to start making that ship?
A fucking
2 days.
spaceship.
Yeah, it was 2 days. It's absolutely insane. Yeah.
Maybe the thing is just so advanced that it fucking couldn't just grab all that shit because he.
Well, plus also it wasn't just. It probably wasn't just one person too. Like when he was making that helicopter, he probably broke up into like a whole bunch of little things, and they're all working on it at the exact same time.
Oh yeah, that's a fucking cool idea. Like that's how it's getting out the door and like it's going somewhere.
That's how they explain the fact that it rips clothes. That's makes perfect sense. Was it Kurt Russell talks that he saw some long johns that the name tag was gone, and that was just a little flare, but I think it adds to that belief that the thing can actually separate and then come back together.
So I've read a theory that it was Mac was infected the entire time also, because they found his torn up jacket and he switched the blood test results, like switched without any.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think the movie is interesting, and we'll get into it when we talk about the end here. But the idea that Mac could have been the thing altogether, but we'll talk about that. It was Childs. And we'll talk about it.
I like they don't drink kerosene.
You were saying about them filming in LA. They filmed the movie in freezers. That's how they got the effect of the frost coming out of their mouths. What's the word I'm looking for?
Like 40 below or some shit.
Yeah. But it's just one of those things where this movie had a nice budget so they could do those things. But I mean, like the creature effects just are so freaking good. I want to talk about Childs real quick too. Childs does not give a fuck. All right. Is it Keith David? That's right. Right.
Yes.
Ain't gonna suck itself. Keith ain't gonna suck itself, David. As wow, he's so fucking good in this. And I think everyone is. And I was gonna bring that up about the dog handler. Like the way he looked at his character was he was aloof. He kind of was more attached to the dogs than he was the other people. That's why he was kind of like that. Child's character, he just did not give a fuck. He was there to do the job, and he wanted to get the fuck out when shit started going south. Keith David's just the powerhouse in everything he's in, regardless. You know what I mean? And that ending, I mean, it really is iconic. I was
gonna say the ending wasn't written until the ending. Like up until they shot that scene, they didn't know what the ending was going to be, and that's what was so cool about this. Was John Carpenter really did go to McCready a lot, and I keep on calling him McCready.
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. He went to him a lot for advice, basically. Like, and they still to this day they do not know if McCready was the thing or not.
Let's talk about it. Fuck it. I was gonna hold off, but let's let's get into it, because Mac versus Childs. This is where we're at right now. The thing has been destroyed. Everyone has been killed or assimilated at this point. They blow up the warehouse, the compound, whatever it is, and they're sitting in the cold outside. And Childs shows up in a completely different outfit than what he was in before. And they sit down, and it's one of those moments where, is he infected or is he not? Across the board, what do you guys think? I mean, it really comes down to that's the question, the ambiguity of this. Go ahead, Jake. What do you think?
He was in the same outfit. It just looked different because he was frosted with snow and everything else. Okay. Let's look at the facts here. He disappeared. Okay. The guy disappeared. I don't know why Mac let everybody break up like that. That was the dumbest fucking decision of all of it. Like, and he fucking did it further once he was inside with Gary and fucking Knowles. Okay, so he told Gary to go down the hall around the corner where nobody can fucking see you. And then he told Knowles to go to a different spot. And he's far enough away that whenever Knowles comes back, he sees fucking goes over there. Gary's not there. And then all of a sudden, Blair is this giant fucking thing that took 50 technicians on set to make work. And still, Charles is nowhere to be seen. The only one that we see the entire time on screen is Mac, right? They got done bombing the shit out of the place with all of his JB bottles that they repurposed with kerosene and made Molotov cocktails out of. They were throwing down the hall systematically. And at the very end, he's walking out. You don't ever see him take a drink off of it. He doesn't pull the top off. He's just holding it in his hand. And whenever they fucking sit down in the snow, he's like, why don't we just sit here and wait and see what happens? Which was a line that he fucking ad-libbed also.
Oh, such an amazing line.
Hands it to him, he drinks it. And if it were kerosene, and he shows no reaction to it, if he were a real fucking person, he would know, like, oh God, this tastes awful. But that's why he just kind of sits there and laughs like, I got you, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
That's what I always fucking took from it.
Javi, you were shaking your head. You don't think Childs is the creature?
Neither of them were the creature.
No?
Hell no.
Nope. Just got out scot-free, or they're dead?
No, they're dead.
Oh, they're dead.
They die, but I think that's probably one of the greatest things I like about the end is like they were so mistrusting of each other, they just sat and watched each other die because they thought the other was a thing. They weren't the thing.
Childs froze, and he's fucking still waiting in the fucking Antarctic right now.
I know, but if you think about it like this, the whole point of this fucking creature was to spread and get a spaceship so it could get the fuck off Earth, which is why fucking Blair was building that ship to get the fuck out of Dodge. It wanted to survive. I know it wasn't Mac because Mac was ready to fucking die right then and there. That creature would have never pulled that stunt. He's like, what if they call my fucking bluff? I'm gonna fucking kill myself and end my species right now?
But here's the thing: it can freeze and survive like it did already for thousands of years. So
100,000 years.
Yes.
Right.
The thing is, though, it can freeze and survive, but it if you go back to the prequel, it went through a whole bunch of shit with that. Now it's going through. It wants to get the fuck off this planet. It's interesting that John Carpenter and Kurt Russell were talking like they're like, look at the movie through the eyes of the Thing. It just wants to be left alone. It crashed, it landed here, and it's like it's woken up and then starts infecting people because it's trying to get out. It wants off this planet, and the humans are constantly trying to kill it. Just leave it the fuck alone.
Well, David, what do you think? Do you think the Childs is the thing?
I think, for me, this movie is so like it's got such a like a Rogue One vibe to it, where it's like people are they're gonna have to kill themselves to save the world type of thing. I like to think that they blew up the Thing, completely killed it, and then the two of them just froze to death.
Right on. Jay, what do you think? Child's the thing or no?
No, I think Childs is like, to me personally, Childs is my favorite character in this movie, and I'll tell you why. For one thing, Childs has some of the best lines.
Yes.
One of the best ones is when they're all standing around. And he goes, "If this thing was a complete replica of me, perfect replica, how would you know that it's not?" Like, he asks really good questions, and I think he makes really smart decisions. And he might be one of the first black characters to survive a horror movie. He really might be.
Yeah.
So to speak. I think he was breaking some new ground. I don't think that was necessarily John Carpenter's intention, but like Keith David to me he's always had like he reminds me a lot of, like, I would say Lawrence Fishburne in Event Horizon, and that whenever he's on screen, he demands it. Yep. And his voice, man, probably one of the greatest voices ever conceived on this planet. I mean, he was Goliath in Gargoyles. He was,
Spawn.
He was Spawn on HBO.
Cameron Diaz's dad into Something About Mary.
Fuck yeah.
He's probably
His best roles.
He's probably the only person I would say could have played Candyman as good as Tony Todd.
Yes.
I mean, like Men at Work is probably the first movie I really got to sink in, with him. But like he is just so good, and so yeah, as a fan, I say he didn't because I didn't want him to. So he's not the Thing. That's what I'd say.
First major acting role, also.
I'm sure. Oh yeah,
wanted Ernie Hudson for this shit. He was almost a lock-in. And John Carpenter was like, "No, I want this guy."
And then they had to wait 7 years for Leviathan, and they got Ernie Hudson. So everybody won.
Bobby, how about you? What did you think at the end of that? Did you think Childs was the Thing or no?
I think no, and this is gonna be weird, but I'm just gonna say it. Like I've been doing this like deep thinking shit, and like what bothered me about the end of the movie is that if you're in that world, these two guys sacrificed their lives for the good of the planet. Like we never, if I'm in that world, I wouldn't known that even happened, and it fucks with you. Like it's like that's deep shit, man. Like you have no idea. But I don't think so. I think it was Javi was saying that, like, yeah, he was not. They're not gonna blow it. It's not gonna blow itself up, and so I say no.
It's not going to blow itself up, and it's not going to suck itself. Oh, that's just hilarious. Requiem for a Dream. I don't know if you ever saw it. Fucking David said the line wrong.
Not going to blow itself up.
Wow. And Will did not let him hear the end of that.
Oh, my God. That was so good.
I was so proud of myself, too. I was like, oh, nailed it. I got that line right.
He's looking for high-fiving a million angels, and nobody was giving him the goods.
Austin, how about you? What do you think? Child's the Thing or no?
Well, I'm kind of torn because I like the idea of it's just the two of them. They've survived it. They did it. They finished it. And they sit down to die, and they're just going to kind of hang out until they die. I like that idea. But I also, when they started to burn the base down, I flash back to the beginning of the movie when they go to the Norwegian camp and it had been completely burned down. And I saw it as like, and how I thought the movie was going to end is the Thing was going to get away again and keep going, Right. And so it was like history repeating itself. It's like, the Norwegians, they had to burn down their base. The last two that survived were chasing it in the helicopter, trying to kill it. They died doing that.
Wow.
Then this base, the same thing happens. And
two people left.
And then one creature will survive, which the creature, not a dog this time, it's Childs, and he will take it. So I like that idea. As like we've been talking, I've been kind of formulating that in my brain. I'm like, I kind of like that one too. So I'm kind of torn. I think obviously it's ambiguous, so it's there's not a definite answer. I can kind of lean into both. So
there is a definite answer actually. Yeah. According to the 2002 video game, which is a sequel, if you consider it a sequel to the movie.
Fucking great game, man. Such a good game.
Childs freezes to death, and Kurt Russell's Max survives, and he's actually at the end of the game. So if the game is canonical to the movie, that is your answer. Well, Childs was not a thing. So
they did shoot a scene with Kurt Russell in the hospital after he had been rescued, and they're doing a blood test, and it shows that he's human. But again, they didn't want that. They thought the ending was perfect at it being in. I think that the ending is absolutely perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that, and that's the thing is it's been debated for years, and it leaves you on that amazing note of that laugh whenever, like Jake said, he drinks the drink, whether it's a Molotov cocktail or not, doesn't matter. He drinks that, and then he laughs at him. He's like, let's just wait. And that's a beautiful ending because it's like, you just don't know. And
so open-ended.
Yeah, so
anybody can interpret it any way they want.
Right. Think about it like this: if it had like a definitive ending, we wouldn't be talking about this fucking movie.
Fuck yeah. No, you need the ambiguity of it. I think you're right. I think
also
very John Carpenter.
How great is that with Kurt Russell at the end when he kind of rests his head? He is just he's been up for like a week. Yeah, and he rests his head and he's just like, I guess we'll just sit here and see what finds out. He's ready. He's so ready to die.
Yeah,
I think he's looking forward to dying. He's like, cool, it's done.
He's an insomniac. He's like, finally, I can fucking sleep.
Yeah.
Well, there's also that great line when they're getting ready to go blow up the base, and he tells it's TK Carter and then the sheriff guy. He tells him, he's like, hey, we're not getting out of this alive, but neither is that thing.
Right.
You know, that's such a great line.
Well, if he's suffering from PTSD, he might have felt his first moment of peace in a long time too. In that moment where he's just like, you know what, let's do this. Go ahead, Austin. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was going to say, I like how Kurt Russell's character is the one that figured out how to test for it too. You know, it wasn't one of the doctors. It was like,
it was a doctor.
Well, they were talking about the blood, but Kurt Russell was the one who was like, no, I get how this thing works because it's not one thing.
It becomes like an old
animal. He did say that.
I'm just saying the doctor is the one who said I got a serum
blood test. Yeah,
he's the one who sowed the seeds. I mean, I'm not saying that Kurt didn't improve upon it, but
right.
The idea of the blood test was definitely the doc's idea.
And what a unique thing. You've never
what a progressive doctor too. He had a fucking nose ring in 19.
Well, he did, right?
Here?
He did, like, right?
Okay.
Wait,
and that was one of the things that was a giveaway that was not being the thing because the thing
metal
wouldn't be able to put on like glasses or a fucking nose ring or anything.
That's one of the things that the one interesting thing about the prequel was they discuss fillings in your mouth. And so if the thing cannot replicate metal.
Right.
And so that was one way they could test to see if you were the thing or not. You'd open up your mouth and look at see if you.
But it can replicate clothing, which would have zippers, which would
have. They tear through the clothing.
They tear. Yeah, it doesn't replicate.
Yeah, Kurt Russell said they tear through the clothing.
Okay, my bad. I thought it was replicating clothing. Guys, is there anything else? Go ahead, Jake. I'm sorry.
Yeah, one thing we haven't touched upon at all is how this movie actually had some big shoes to fill because it is a remake, and it's a remake of a pretty damn good movie, The Thing from Outer Space. When it came out, it was definitely considered a cult classic of its own. So the fact that he definitely tried to put his own spin on it and did it very successfully. I thought it's just it's unfortunate that this movie had to come out around the time of ET because it really didn't stand a chance. And
I think this movie came out 10 years too soon. I think it was one of those things where it was just too much for people.
And then the 90s would be too late. It's a tragic story of that.
No, it's a project.
This movie came out the same day as another critical failure and flop, which
Blade Runner
became a cult classic.
Blade Runner, really?
Yep.
No shit. So
I saw that the next night.
That's awesome.
That's even weirder because it had Harrison Ford, who had just had like nothing but hits.
Oh, and directed by Ridley Scott. You know
what?
Right after the
awesome.
hit Alien.
One of my favorite video games was actually going to be my recommendation. There's a game called Snatcher for the Sega CD. It's a Konami game made by Hideo Kojima, and it deals with Blade Runner and body snatching. It's called Snatcher because it's body snatching. It's so weird that these movies came out at the same time, and then you get this hybrid video game. That's kind of cool.
Have any of you guys played the Thing video game?
Oh yeah, on the PlayStation 2, right?
Yep.
What do you think, Jay?
2.
It's a lot of fun. It is basically like you're playing the movie. So you're not gonna get it if you're looking for like twists and turns. You're not gonna get it. But if you want to revisit, the story and enjoy it, then you'll have a good time. It's one of the better ones.
Remember that thing where it talks? I forget what it was called, but it was like a panic mode. When you were talk to another character, it was an AI character, and you had to say the right things, or it would freak them out because everyone's so paranoid. And
you had to hit the right notes. It was almost like a sci-fi version of the Ocarina of Time.
Yeah,
you had to hit the right notes. Yeah, absolutely.
There's also sorry, go ahead, Bobby.
I just had a question. Like, how did the Thing from Outer Space end? Because that's what makes me wonder if this is one of the reasons it flopped. Because as American people, we want the happy ending and not an ambiguous thing. Like, did that have anything to do with it?
The original Thing from Outer Space, I've only seen clips myself, but I've seen a lot of like YouTube reviews.
They set it on fire. They kill it. They kill it.
Wow.
Yeah, and they used real fire back then. Like it was like insane. If you watch the making of that movie, the fact that no one died on that it's insane. Like what they did back then. But another thing about this movie that's interesting is like how hard it was on them because they shot in the north in Alaska, and the flares were so brutal on their lungs, and they would burn so fast. And Kurt Russell almost got blasted by an explosion when he goes to blow up Palmer's body. He felt a piece of shrapnel go right by his face.
Oh shit!
They got real lucky.
for the flare thing, man. I grew up in the country and we got a box of flares once, and
Fun times.
that is serious business, man.
I want to hear the story of we got a box of flares.
It's the sequel to We Bought a Zoo.
Just chanced upon them. That's the way it is always with flares, fireworks, explosives. You just chanced upon them.
I think you're the first time I've ever heard someone say chanced upon.
No,
in a long time.
Just chanced
I like
upon
it.
them. What'd you
We're bringing
get?
back chanced upon.
That's what we're told when the cops show up. You're supposed to say. Guys, anything else about the movie? Anything else at all?
I like the fact that you could appreciate this at different stages. I know younger me would have definitely loved the practical effects for this movie, but the 34-year-old me completely appreciates the social aspect of it. It's just like, all right, you've been spending God knows how long with these guys, isolated, just you and these guys. You know these guys pretty fucking well at this point, and all it takes was just one little incident to just turn that whole dynamic completely on its fucking head. And it's how fucking when you got Blair telling Mac, keep your eye on Clark. There's something wrong with him. And he planted that fucking seed. And Kurt Russell knew he was fucking crazy at that point. And he still believed him.
And what did he do to Clark?
He murked him.
He murked him. You're right.
Because he told him to. Because he incepted him to do it.
He incepted.
And it's just fucking crazy. Just how easy it was for this thing to turn these people against each other.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's be honest, guys. Like, let's see. Like, did any of y'all ever go to private school growing up or anything like that? So I have a few
rich motherfuckers.
Well, no. Well, a bunch of my friends, in college, they did go to an all-male school, and they're just like, when you're surrounded by nothing but testosterone all the time, like they said, like they just got weird. You just you really when it's just like we talk about Real Boys Club and you think about like isolated, Antarctic, nothing but dudes, nothing but just like a sausage party. Like there is a certain I would just imagine you could go a little bit crazy, especially playing off each other,
they all separated themselves for the most part also though. Like
because they probably had to.
Childs and Palmer because they fucking smoked weed together and watched VCR tapes.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Oh, but by the way, you know they put in porn after that game show.
Oh, of course.
That was
Palmer was a bottom all the way. We all know this.
They were fucking. I was gonna say they were fucking, right?
Yeah, they were totally fucking.
I just thought they were. I thought they were jerking each other off.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, they were just gonna jerk each other off.
What happens in the
doctor has a nose ring, and you tell me they're not fucking.
Man, an ass is an ass,
What I also liked about this movie was the fact that, like, even though it's taking place in wide open space, there's nothing around. It is fucking crazy how claustrophobic you fucking watching this movie.
Yep. Well, they talk about that in the making of something called the whiteout when they're flying their helicopter. When you get into a whiteout, you can't see anything. It's like that THX 1138, the prison without walls. It's just all white. You can't see anything. Another thing is, this film got a lot of shit for not having any females in it. I think it works better the fact that it is men, and that I think that adds to the paranoia. It adds to that alpha male type of thing. I think having a female in there would have fucked everything up.
Let's talk to our female podcaster about what they feel about that.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah, we're mansplaining why a movie with no men is better.
Well, actually,
we've done it. We've done it, guys.
My wife, Lindsay watched it with me and Bobby, and she was kind of put off by the whole fact that there's no females in it. And she went down this rabbit hole, and she came across a really good article in the Atlantic describing why it was better to have an all-male cast, and it really got into some deep shit. And she was like, "God, it totally makes sense now."
I'm intrigued to hear about that. Definitely, that would be.
Can you share that article to the group?
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Please do. Go ahead, Jake. What were you going to say?
I forgot one more thing. You know how the thing makes like a predator sound at some points? It's like
yeah,
a little wrestling. That sound happens before fucking Child shows himself at the very end. Whenever he walks around
what?
Yes.
Oh shit!
I was going to say, even the Predator music is the heartbeat sound, and at the end, Child has the heartbeat sound. attached to him. So maybe, you know, it's subliminal and made you supposed to think that, but that's what's wonderful about this movie is the way
Most John Carpenter movies had that heartbeat though. Christine had it all over.
We talked about it, and
yeah.
They Live. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
They Live. Yeah.
Things. So, I was gonna say the last question I had was the noose. When they go back out to the shed and Brimley's in there being all diabetes stuff, there's the noose, but yet he's going, "I'm better, I'm fine." That should have been the giveaway that he was going to kill himself. He was done. He had lost his mind. So
when does it say? Do they specifically say 2 days?
I was watching a documentary earlier, and they said 2 days.
Okay, because that's what made me think time had passed. Like he went through a phase of like, "Fuck this, I'm going to kill myself," to where like, "Oh no, I'm going to build a ship or whatever." I don't know. It just seemed. It kind of worked for me. It didn't seem so out of place.
Right. And I think that it's a great, once again, you have all these red herrings. You don't know who the thing is. You don't know what's going on. But when you go back and watch the movie again, you can literally track it, and you can track who it's getting and who's next in line. But what's wonderful, it's a whodunit. You know, you don't know. It's a mystery.
Well, it's like an old Agatha Christie murder mystery.
Right. And that's the way they made it. They wanted it to be that way.
What I liked about, sorry, go ahead, Jake.
It's fine. Go ahead, Hobby.
No, I was just gonna say what I liked about the news is, what if Blair was infected and he didn't know, and he went to kill himself, and the thing was like, "You're not killing me," and he just like fucking
that would be
like
cool.
stopped him from killing himself.
He does take the thing and put it against the creature, and then put it against his mouth at a certain point. So maybe it was a slow transformation. Go ahead, Jake.
I thought they put the noose in there with him and gave him the option to have a way out if he didn't want to fucking stay in that long until they found out if he was the thing or not. So it was kind of like you choose your fate.
Ooh, that's some dark shit. That's some dark shit, dude. All right, guys, let's see if we recommend this bad boy. We're gonna go down the line. We're gonna start with Jay. Jay, recommend or no?
Absolutely phenomenal, classic Carpenter, one of his best. Maybe his best horror movie. Maybe.
Hobby.
Fuck yeah, I recommend this movie. If you don't like this movie, there's something wrong with you. You're touched in the head, clearly.
Yeah, Bobby.
Wow, yeah. A little rude, but okay.
Oh shit! Oh, Bobby, I forgot that you didn't like this movie.
He forgot because he's never been around someone that didn't like this movie. That's why he forgot.
That's all right, Bobby. Let's go to you next. Do you recommend? Not do you like, but do you recommend?
No, so discussing it more, like I recommend it to myself to watch it again. Like, I mean, seriously, like there's so many nuances you guys have pointed out that just I totally missed the first round, right?
This is definitely one of those movies you gotta give multiple watches.
Okay, here's the thing. I think what messed it up with Bobby was he watched it with me and Lindsay, and it turned into a Mystery Science Theater 3000. Yeah. So we're all comedians, and we're all making jokes. Like I was doing the dog voice the entire time. You know, so I think it'd be better for Bobby rewatches it again by himself.
Plus, you're a fan. You're a big fan of it.
Yeah.
So it's always it's like when I introduce people to WrestleMania 3, and I'm like, I can never see it. I can never watch it, you know, objectively.
I could feel while I was watching it, like I could feel Dave's heat, like.
And Dave's looking at you while you're watching the movie. It's like you're his child. And he's just showing this to you. I can totally feel that.
Oh, especially now the blood test scene. I sat back and was like, I'm not saying shit.
Yeah, that was good.
Because that is a great example of magic and comedy. Because what they do is they set you up to think that it's copper. And they just bypass Palmer altogether. Like, it's not Palmer. And Carpenter was
stoner, man. He's just fucking chilling.
And Carpenter was smart to use the fake hand on the scene right before it pops out, so the audience is used to the hand. And so when it pops out, it's so great.
It's genius. Austin, recommend or no?
Yes, absolutely. Please watch this movie.
Fuck yeah. Jake, how about you?
I hate this fucking movie.
I knew it.
Go watch this fucking movie. What's wrong with you? It's so goddamn good.
David, seeing as you picked it, we got to know what you think.
I think it is one of the best horror sci-fi movies of all time. For me, it's right below Alien. It's a very small genre, horror sci-fi, but as far as that genre goes, it's one of the best. It's a great movie. It shows you what it's such a shame, because I would have loved to have seen Carpenter do more big budget movies. What else could he have done?
Well, he
Like,
did.
you know?
He did get 2 more big budget movies though.
What was that?
Starman, and Big Trouble in Little China. Both those movies had
Those
bigger
weren't,
budgets
like,
than this.
Big budgets though.
They were $10 million
One of them was
more
actually
than this
good.
movie.
He
25 million in
he
84
calls
was
this
a lot of movies.
the first of the Apocalypse trilogy of his.
Absolutely.
Second one I
Absolutely.
forget, and the third one is In the Mouth of Madness.
Second one is Prince of Darkness,
yeah,
which
Prince
is
of Darkness.
one of the most underrated horror movies ever
Yeah.
made.
How does Lopan fit into the apocalypse of the world?
He's
What?
not
No,
part of the
that's not
Apocalypse
part of the
trilogy.
Apocalypse. We're talking about The Thing was the first.
Oh.
And have
It's
you
his-
know
it's
who
his.
Lopan is, dude? Have you seen his power?
He started a
Oh,
tournament
man.
called Mortal Kombat.
Yes, it's the same character. I highly recommend this movie. I think that it is, like Jay said earlier, the best of Carpenter. I think that this is his magnum opus next to Halloween. I got to put those hand in hand. I don't know which one's better.
And it's so great because in Halloween, The Thing is playing on the TV.
You're right. I totally forgot about that when they're
The Thing
babysitting,
from
right?
Outer Space, yeah.
Yeah. So he wanted to make this movie. He wanted to remake it. He spent the most time working on it. The documentary I watched earlier is just absolutely amazing. Highly recommended. It's on YouTube. Just look up The Thing documentary. And it's just a love letter to filmmaking because these guys, even though they were filmmakers, did not know what the fuck they were doing half the time.
Oh,
and
yes.
that is what's
Yeah.
wonderful about it because they're going to the special effects guy and he's like, he comes back with all these ideas for the thing and the transformations. And Carpenter looks at him and goes, "Can you do it?" And he goes, "I don't know." That's beautiful. That's fucking
Yeah.
filmmaking. That's what you want to hear from somebody. Like, let's try it. Let's see what we can do. And that's just
Yeah.
like with anything in this world. Just try it and see what you can do.
There was one. My only complaint about this movie was I did not like the stop motion at the end. I was always bummed out about that. I always thought I wish they could have done a better job and had tentacles thrown out instead of the stop motion tentacles. So that was my only, and that's just a small
I didn't
complaint.
even notice it, man. I didn't even notice there was stop motion in it.
There's
I mean,
actually, if you look up, there's actually a longer stop motion sequence.
Yeah, the guy that they were going to use a lot of stop motion for it, and John Carpenter looked at it and said, "Nah, fuck this." And that guy went on to win Academy Awards for doing visual
Empire?
effects for Lord of the Rings.
Oh, Lord of the Rings.
yeah, the whole trilogy. The guy went on to do that shit.
Hey everyone, it's just Duck jumping in here real quick to say thank you so much for checking out the podcast today. If you're enjoying it, head over to your favorite podcast app, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, or iTunes, and give We Are Podcast Network a like. And just so you know, the next section of the podcast will be clips from the movie, so you can find replays of the live video stream at twitch.tv/We Are Podcast Network and youtube.com/We Are Podcast Network. Once again, all links can be found in the description. Come check out our live stream every Monday at 8 p.m. And for a full list of future films, check out our social media. You can find us at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at /We Are Podcast. And with that, back to the Horrorcast. Well, guys, let's get the clips. I got 2 specialty clips tonight. So the first one we're going to do is a little bit of the MST 3000. David sent this to me earlier. A little bit of the dog talking. So let's try this out real quick. Let me know if you guys can hear it.
You guys probably shouldn't go there. You're not going to like what you find. I hope you guys didn't bring anything back. I really appreciate. Oh, you did. You brought something back, didn't you? That's not good. I told you not to go. Yeah, is that what? Yeah, it looks like that's part of me, isn't it? This is
Bobby, is this what you went through watching it with David the first time?
Good idea.
Yeah.
Because if so, I'm so sorry. I take back what I said about people not liking this movie. You have every right to dislike this movie.
Yeah.
For that being your
You watched a different
experience.
movie, Bobby.
You guys are going to like
Let me
this.
show you this movie, but I want to try some yucks on you. I'll show you this movie for the first time.
Here's that scene I was talking about with Kurt Russell looking at everybody. Just so great. He's like, you guys see this? You guys see what the fuck we're about to get into?
Look at
This
that
movie was
hair.
really short. You guys just wouldn't have gone to the camp, like I told you.
I agree, Bobby.
Hello.
Look at fucking Fox from the Warriors passed out there.
Yeah, right.
Anybody here? Anybody want to get assimilated? Just check. No? Who's that?
Party at the Moon Tower.
Someone got some assimilation for you. Oh, hello, Norris.
Got some simulation for you.
Sorry, guys.
That's great.
I do love that dog, man. That dog was just amazing.
Oh,
just the intensity of his stare.
Half wolf, half Malamute.
He was both adorable and villainous at the same time. I love it.
Well, that whole hallway scene's so great because he's literally looking for someone to infect. You know, he's like, "Is anyone over here?" No.
You want some simulation?
That dog is pure method, bro. That is a Christian Bale of dogs.
There were a lot of people after this movie were made as well. I read about it in Fangoria that really wanted that dog to get its like own prequel movie, like a la Benji. They wanted to see what, like because that dog is just so vibrant. They want to see what got him to that point. It would have been a fun journey.
Freaking awesome. Homeward thing.
Yeah,
there's actually. I'm sorry, Bobby. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say after the movie, he would have had a bigger agent, more money.
He asked for too much. He really.
There's a short story out there that is written from the Thing's point of view during this movie, and so the whole short story is you're in the Thing's mind and how he's like, "Would these fucking people please leave me alone?" You know, it was really cool.
Well, let's find out what Ethan Eastwood thought about the movie.
Yes,
he hated it. I know.
No, I'm not going to say he did, but here we go.
Hey guys, I know it's kind of lame that I'm not joining y'all tonight, but figured you guys would appreciate this. I'm gonna
shut up,
Ethan.
Ethan.
Record my actual reaction to the thing. You're gonna get to see me actually watching it blind.
What?
I have no fucking clue what I'm in for.
How about that fucking opening title card?
Fuck. Oh, that is disgusting.
I feel bad for that dog.
That is fucking cool. Holy shit! I honestly didn't think the blood test was gonna work. I thought. Oh shit! Oh god! What the?
Oh, I forgot.
Fuck? How the fuck did he survive that? Oh, shit. Okay. Okay. I totally thought Kurt Russell was gonna be the Thing. This movie scared the fuck out of me. This is a 2 thumbs up for me. Oh, this might be like Texas Chainsaw level of I need to go take a bath. Holy fuck. Yeah, I recommend it. I think it's great. It still holds up. It's definitely worth a watch, and it's a fantastic movie. It's genuinely scary, and it's really, really fucking cool. Okay. Yes. I'm gonna go try to wash my body of that disgusting movie.
Hey,
good job.
Hey guys, real quick. I think we missed 2 things. That 2 of the funniest lines in this movie. You gotta be fucking kidding me.
You gotta be fucking
kidding me. And I understand that you guys have been through a lot, but I would rather not spend the rest of this fucking winter in this fucking couch.
Donald Moffat had the best delivery of any line in this movie, dude.
Oh my god, so funny, man. And that's the thing is, like, in this movie, it's very serious, but it does have those 2 moments, and it's kind of around me of Jaws when Roy Schreider goes, "Chum some of this shit. Why don't you chum some of this shit?" Where it was naturally funny. It wasn't like wacky, like, hey, we need to have a wacky side character to kind of bring some levity to this horror movie. It was natural humor.
Right. And I think Jake brought up that title sequence too. When you see the Thing, peel off of there, it's really cool how they did that. They took a fish tank, they scraped in the Thing on the front of it, and then they put a black plastic bag on the back, and they just lit it on fire. And that effect of unrolling with the smoke that's in the fish tank came out. It's just movie making. Love it. Just love it so much.
Well, isn't that how they did the original title sequence too? And they just mimicked it? Like, wasn't that part of
I'm not sure. But
okay.
That would be awesome if they did. But I think it is similar.
Oh, really?
All right, guys. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I love that actor so much.
Who's that, Red Herring? Red Herring!
Coming in hot. The helicopter comes, man.
He came in hot. The damn Swedes. A little twitch right there. Jesus Christ.
I remember as a kid, like those Swedes really pissed me off. They were terrible fucking shots.
They were the worst shots.
Could have shot that fucking dog from
They were the worst shots.
Helicopter.
And what fucking pissed me off also was the guy with the grenade, and he just fucking tossed it behind his back. Like, what were you thinking? What were you doing? I don't understand.
Bobby laughed out loud at that, and I was like, "Oh, that's not good."
What the fuck is happening here?
Him and Lindsay were both dying laughing. I'm like, "You guys are ruining this."
I had to fucking laugh at it.
Oh no, you're right, man. It's fucking ridiculous. First infected. So that is a silhouette of somebody who wasn't even one of the actors in the movie.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah.
It's fucking genius. Little simulation for you.
Hello, Norris.
No good. Oh, it's so graphic. So this guy committed suicide? Is that what they're saying?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's another thing. I love it. I love it when movies like this, and they do the same thing in Aliens. When you go to a place and you don't know what happened, you just see the after effect.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely terrifying. And then Austin said it earlier.
Yeah, the fucking
the
blood fucking being frozen out of his wrist and the frozen fucking straight blade and his fucking throat cut open. That was top notch.
Nasty. But like Austin said, they caught the place on fire or whatever, and then you see a repeat of that. Like they totally destroyed their own encampment later. So it's kind of cool. It'd be great if that prequel.
Well, also, if you look at it too, Fuchs committed suicide. So you're kind of mimicking. And I never thought of it before until Austin brought it up. But it's almost the exact same thing is happening to the American camp.
Ugh.
So good.
My God, what the hell happened here?
Still smoking.
Apparently, the smoke they used really stunk, and so the actors weren't acting when they were acting like they're about to.
Yeah, they're.
I just love this creature design where it's half metamorphosized into whatever it's trying to become.
That's Eric Christian Olsen.
Yeah.
Is it trying to be like two different people?
I think what's happening is it's morphing. So here's I have an actual action figure.
Oh, word! Look at that.
Yeah.
That's freaking awesome. Did you make that or did you buy that?
No, I bought this, but I made a mold out of it. And so that's why I make my art. Also, whenever we're done showing, I've got to show you guys a couple things I have that are thing related.
Cool. Bad puppers. I love it. That looks like Biohunter a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
This movie influenced a lot of things, the way the special effects were.
Actually, there's this great manga and anime. I know. It's called Parasite. And if you watch it, it is so well done. It is so fucking awesome.
You had your week, Javi.
Thank you. It plays off the thing a lot.
Dude, you're fine. Yeah, Parasite.
Jake was
Ethan
speaking through me.
Ethan brought it up last week.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, Parasite.
And you were you saying, Hobby?
Oh, I was just saying that this Parasite takes a lot of cues from the thing.
Right on.
Parasite's badass, no lie. It's awesome.
Oh, it's so nasty.
That sound, man.
Ugh, I love it.
I love how that one dog was trying to get out.
Chew out of the thing, right?
In that clip, but yeah, where he's biting the fence and he's just like, "Oh, there's a hole. I'm gonna get to this."
Yeah,
I'm out of this bitch.
There's also that scene where that thing comes out and it's going towards Childs and it opens up. If you freeze frame it, it's got rows of wolf teeth or dog teeth inside of it. So it kind of shows you that it's changing, trying to change into a wolf.
Yeah.
Definitely not a spaceship. Definitely not a spaceship. So that's a matte painting done by a famous matte painter. The only thing that was real was the hatch. So
Bill Johnston, who did the painting?
He's the guy that he's worked on like Star Wars films.
hat, though.
I tell you, the fucking hat. Bobby did bring this up, man. I have to agree. I never realized how ridiculous that fucking hat is.
sombrero, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
They've been trying to kill Kurt Russell's fucking image for years, and it hasn't worked.
The hat's got me thinking Arby's.
Yeah, dude, you look at him in fucking Escape from New York and fucking Big Trouble, and it's like, dude, they just tried fucking him up so bad.
I think
like,
Hobby's right too, but because me and Dave and Lindsay watching this, Dave was just like, dude, what did you say about it? I can't remember. It's fucking.
He looked like an old prospect. Like it's gonna go like.
Yeah, it was. It was basically.
No, he said, you know, he's like it was an actor being a diva thing. Like, hey man, I'll do the movie if.
This is the hard line. This is the deal breaker. I want the 4D cowboy hat.
Hey, Javi, everyone on Twitch saw you chastise me a second ago for definitely, just so you know. Because I spelled it wrong, and Javi's like, you should spell check things. And they're like, I'm not a smart man, dude. I don't know what to say.
How long you figure this has been in the ice?
All right.
I don't know if they can see that.
It's fine. Got him!
Yo, thingity Sam.
I just got that shit.
Love it. Love the design. Love the fingers. All right. This brings up my question. Do the things communicate like a hive mind, or
Yes.
are they completely separate? They
No,
do
it's
communicate like a-
it's one creature. It's one creature. It's one creature, but every cell is individual. But they have one mind.
Okay, just making sure. That's why I was curious. So the other ones that are already infected are standing there watching that one being destroyed.
I don't think they're aware of each other. If they're separate entities and separate creatures, I don't think they would be aware of each other.
You don't think?
Well, I mean, Kurt Russell has that great speech where he says, "If you were all the thing, you would just attack me."
So it might just be a couple of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they might be saying they can't blow their cover.
Well, yeah,
What was that, Bobby?
strength in numbers.
Yeah.
Burn, baby, burn.
But
All right, we got.
Can we just take appreciation for that Foley artist with that fucking scream? That scream still scares me to this fucking day.
So good, man.
Diabetes. Did I spell that right?
Diabetes.
He can't find a fucking clip.
This could have
find a
been
strip to check it.
Yeah.
This could have been one of those new age Snickers commercials. Hey man, are you hungry?
You're so.
Have a sugar-free Snickers.
You know how they have those like rage rooms where you can go and beat
Yeah.
stuff up?
Yes.
They should model one after
this room.
scene.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Just so y'all know, Wilford Brimley is only 47 years old in
Yeah,
this
he
movie.
looks all 67 right there.
Yeah, well, he was in Cocoon, right?
Mhm.
He could have been Don Amici's and Jessica Tandy's son. That was
Yeah.
the age difference between him and the other old people. in
That's
Cocoon.
insane.
Look, he was
barely
natural.
50. Barely
He was-
50.
He was
Yeah,
in the
like-
natural, and he's only like 4 years older than Robert Redford.
Yes,
Redford is supposed to be
exactly.
playing like the young fucking buck.
Yeah, yeah, it's awesome. Because he's so, but look at him. He's doing all this badass shit. You're like, look at him, man. He's pretty spry
He's
for a
moving.
47-year-old.
He's moving. He's looking
Yeah, but people
one
look.
touch.
Yeah, they looked older back then. I don't know. My grandparents were only in their like 30s, and they looked like they were 80 something. So, but they did smoke and drink. So who knows?
I really think Austin may be onto something with that. Like we should like all go in on a rage room and call it the Blair's Rage Project.
It was a half a dad joke. I appreciated it.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was good.
Christ.
All right, just the news. That's what
I
the
don't want
fuck.
to stay out here anymore. I want to come back inside.
And they
So
don't even
good.
mention it. I love that. They don't mention the news.
Right.
It's just
Funny
there.
things. I hear
Yeah.
funny things out here. Have you come
There's
across
funny
Fuchs?
things out here.
It ain't Fuchs.
I'm not going to harm anybody, and there's nothing wrong with me. And if there was, I'm all better now. I'd like to come back inside. Now, you got my promise.
I'm sold.
So
Oh my God.
Oh, this is the actual red herring. All right, my bad.
the red herring.
Look. It was stashed in his own oil furnace. Wind must have dislodged it, but I don't think he saw me find it. I made sure I got ahead of him on the tow line on the way back.
How about that scene when the doorknob starts moving back and forth? How fucking creepy was that?
Yeah, pretty good.
McCready? He's one of them. When do you think it got to him? I don't know.
Look at that look.
Anytime, anywhere, if it did get to him.
Yeah, both of them are fucking.
Yeah, they're like right.
Yeah. Now that like is Palmer like Palmer right there? If he's infected, like that's where he kind of has like a little bit of a tell because he's bragging a little bit. Oh, it's probably the most advanced life form on the planet. I mean, yeah, I hear,
like hubris. Yeah.
I hear that it's really good with the ladies too, but I'm not.
This fucking alien.
I heard the thing has a big thing, if you know what I mean.
It could do it anywhere. Trust me. I think it's don't underestimate it. I've heard.
I heard that it drops condoms for its magnum dog.
I mean, just whatever. But I'll let y'all figure that out for yourselves.
And
hey, Palmer, are you the thing? Nope. Not me.
Nope.
Badass.
Cool.
Such a badass here.
Way off.
He's holding that a little too close to the
close.
Yeah.
Real dynamite would have gone up by then.
A little bit of Pac-Man action. Love this scene. Gonna get us kicked off Twitch.
Clear.
It is.
They hired an amputee for this.
They had one shot to do it.
They really did, though.
Got that sound effects, man.
Iconic and crazy.
The sound it makes, the scream is fucking great.
It's creepy, but it's
Terrifying. It holds up so well. It looks so real.
Oh, the bones cracking.
So didn't they achieve a lot of those effects by running them in reverse and sucking them back into the
Yeah, it has a really cool effect when you do it reverse.
That's fucking badass. The blood test. This is the scene though that takes the cake, I think, because you're not expecting it.
Yep.
This is pure nonsense. Doesn't prove a thing. I thought you'd feel that way, Gary. You were the only one that could have got to that blood. We'll do you last.
That's olive oil.
Man, fucking Bobby jumped. It was awesome.
Shelley Duvall's dad?
Yeah, the movie Popeye.
Bob Ross, get him!
Oh man. Yeah. Whack ass death in this and in Warriors.
It looks so fake.
Fucking wicked looking though.
It's the chaos of that shot, man, of just the screaming and just everything. It was just so great. Because it's so silent up to that point. You have all this tension of them testing the blood, and it's very quiet. And the only sound is the what do you call it? The flamethrower heating that thing and going and then all of a sudden chaos.
Insanity. Love it. The spaceship that he was building. How he was doing it, no one knows.
What is it? Something he's been making.
It's a ship of some kind.
Well, no
Stole
shit.
Parts from the helicopter.
Smart SOB. Put it together piece by piece. Where was he trying to go?
Would he put it together all pieces at once?
Chance.
The blue light too was such a great choice.
I think I saw Child
Light
outside
special.
the main entrance of the camp.
Yeah, because he's the fucking thing.
He's the thing.
He's fucking consorting with the fucking Blair.
Final form. This is the ultimate Pac-Man.
Okay, here's the stop motion when the tentacles come out.
Oh, that looked good.
did.
Right here.
Oh, I never even noticed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't notice it.
I would have never caught that, 40 years ago.
Pac-Man.
Did you guys notice Blair's face?
Yes.
Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
On the side, that's Blair's
That's
face.
awesome. I never even noticed that.
Yeah, a lot of people miss that.
Got the
Right
dog coming
there.
out of his chest also, right?
Yep.
That's so cool. Yeah, it's dog brilliant too.
It's like a fleshlight. Everyone laughing has a fleshlight right now.
I was going to ask you if you knew where I could buy this one.
That's actually a really good idea. I'd fuck the thing.
Bano.
Good tuck and roll, bro.
That's how a sombrero got like that.
Now fetch.
Boosh. That was a long clip, but I. Good
So
shit.
worth it. So worth it.
Now, is that a miniature?
No, that's the camp. And here's the thing: the camp that after they blew it up is when they shot the Norwegian camp. So the Norwegian camp is actually the American camp after it got blown up, which goes into Austin's theory of it actually being on a loop.
Oh, it incepted itself.
What were you going to say, Bobby?
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 Yeah,
what were you going to say?
What were you going to say?
The flames look full size to me. It looks legit.
Yeah, Bobby's like a legit filmmaker, guys. I don't know if you know that or not. So he is like,
hire me.
They do need somebody.
Hire me.
Yeah.
There you go, Bobby. Bobby's working like 100-hour work. Hey, Bobby, when did your commercials come on, by the way?
They
Sorry,
started.
that's for later. Nice.
Greatest ending ever. I can't spell, just so you know, Bobby.
If we've got any surprises, I don't think we're in much shape to do anything about it.
That music.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Want to fuck?
what do we do?
Wait here.
That's what we were doing the entire time. Me, Bobby, and Lindsay, the entire fucking movie. We ruined it for Bobby.
You're right, but there's a sexual tension in this scene I
Oh.
never noticed.
It's palpable.
Yep.
Clearly, it's palpable.
That's
they
a word.
share
That's
the
a word
drink.
I can never say, Jake. I can't. I always fuck up that word. Palpable.
Palpable? I mean, there's
Palpable.
a real Brian
Palpatine.
song feel to this.
As he drinks it, the fucking thing's theme kicked in. So there, I think there's something
Yes.
scary.
Look, he's laughing at him like he fucking knows. 'cause
He
there's
knows.
Jennifer
He's like,
in the fucking shit.
Well,
Now
maybe
he goes
just
night-night.
because last time he offered Charles a drink, Charles declined. And maybe he was just happy that,
No.
he accepted the invitation to take one of my drinks.
Nah.
Did
David,
you
what
guys
got-
see?
Oh, sorry,
Did-
good.
I was gonna say, did you guys watch the stop motion of the Frozen as the thing, the blood test?
Yeah, that was good.
That's fucking amazing. Okay, so here are my things. I hope you guys can see it. So these are from McFarlane Toys. Did a series of movie maniacs in the early to mid 2000s, and this is the Norris figure,
Ooh,
as you can
shit,
see,
yeah.
and you can see the little spider guy down there.
That is
There it is.
badass.
Yeah, that's a really fucking cool. And then this one is the Blair creature. And you can see the Blair creature. You can see the half head right there.
Hold it
I
up a
got a
little bit
glare.
above the light there.
Oh, sorry.
Glare.
A little bit.
Still hard to see, but I can kind of make
Okay.
that a little bit. It's just too
Let
much
me
glare
see.
off the computer.
Yeah, let me see if I
The other
can-
one's a little more
Here,
pronounced.
here we go. Here we go. There is. You can see the jaw.
No.
No, we can't see it.
Yeah,
Too much
barely,
light.
barely.
Too much
Sorry.
light. It's all right.
Hey,
And
Bobby.
then
Hey, just fucking open them and pull them out and play with them.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
and then if you're a fan of this movie, I highly recommend getting the Thing art book. It is
Oh yeah. that's
fucking
awesome.
phenomenal.
Yeah, I want
It's like a perfect coffee table book, but it's a whole bunch of different artists doing different renditions, like doing different like movie posters and stuff like that. And it's so fucking good. It's really fucking thick too. Like this thing is huge.
Thick is a thing's cock.
Drew Struzan did the poster for this one. And I think he did in like one night without any fucking screenshots or knowing what the hell the movie was about.
It's a great movie poster. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the
Fucking
greatest
great.
movie posters ever made. 100%. It
Does
says so
it-
much.
Does it really reflect the movie to me though?
It reflects the title, at least. The title
Well,
at the
the
beginning.
face reflects.
I love the poster. It's phenomenal. I'm not taking away from it. However, it does not reflect the movie to me.
I
will say
who the thing is. It could have been any one of those motherfuckers.
I was about to say. It's
I will say
ambiguous.
this. Jay brings up a good point in that, and it reminds me of the Alien movie poster. If you look at the Alien movie poster, it's nothing like the movie. The egg isn't the same. There's no weird netting underneath it, but for some reason it works. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, it's great poster. I think it's great.
Yeah, sure.
Minor opinion.
God damn.
Well, I guess my question would be, because with the Alien movie poster was made before the movie was finished, so they hadn't even shot the scenes of the eggs. I wonder if the Thing movie poster was made without the artist having any idea.
Yeah, it was Drew
Okay.
Struzan. He had no fucking clue what was going on in it. He had no notes or anything like
He
that.
just was like, "Hey, it's in Antarctica and it's cold."
Pretty much.
Let me pull it up real quick so everyone can see it. Thing poster. Oh, I guess you guys can't see it. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Jay, but at the same time, it is the ambiguity. And that's
Again,
what- how
not-
ambiguous it
not
is for the
hating
character. Who
at
could
all.
it be?
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much. That was a fun cast. I had a blast talking the thing with you guys. We got to do our closing out here. David, where can they find you out on the internet?
So on Facebook, look up Stop Motion Nightmares. On Instagram, look up Children of Dave. On Reddit, Geiger Drone. And on June 5th, come out to Viva's. I'll be hosting a dirty, funny burlesque show. I will not be getting naked, but attractive
Oh.
people will be. So come out to that. I'm hosting that. Super fun place. Super excited to be back.
Freaking awesome. Bobby, where can they find you on the internet?
Just Google Bobby Frisky, and if you know, like if you have a hot older aunt, I'm short bald dude on all the apps.
And you can find us on the internet. We just released the 100th episode of We Are Air. So head on over to wearepodcast.podbean.com where you can check out all the podcasts. We have We Are Air. That's me, Jake, and Javi, where we break down pop culture. We talk movies, entertainment, whatever the fuck we want to talk about. Like I said, episode 100 dropped today. Super excited, super fun episode. Give it a listen. We also have We Are Bagu, where we talk Atari to Steam and everything in between. That's me and Dr. Reverend Ethan Eastwood breaking down video game lore. We have Heroes, Gyros, a Dungeons and Distraction side quest where we play some D&D. Hopefully, we'll be kicking up a session of that sometime soon. We will invite everyone to play if you want to play. Also, you can check us out every Monday here on Camp/Horrorcast, where we talk horror movies from the past, live on Twitch at 8 p.m. Central Time. Next week, we'll be checking out A Quiet Place. So,
What?
Yes. The sequel is coming out, and we are going to watch that beforehand. I just finally watched it for the first time. I enjoyed it. So go give that movie a watch. Hopefully everyone else will enjoy it and we'll have a great conversation. I think there's a lot there to dissect. Bobby, thank you so much for joining us. You're always welcome to come on the cast anytime you want to. We really appreciate
man, it's fun.
Hell yeah. Other than that, The Thing is in the books. Hopefully we had a good time here. I think we did. Thank you so much for watching. With that, I'm going to cut the feed because I haven't in control of this. Boom. And there it is. Thank you again so much for checking out the podcast today. If you enjoyed it, head over to your favorite podcast app, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, and iTunes, and give We Are Podcast Network a like. And since this is Camp/Horrorcast, if you want to check us out live, we will be on Twitch and YouTube every Monday at 8 p.m. Central Time. You can find us at twitch.tv/We Are Podcast Network and youtube.com/We Are Podcast Network. And if you've enjoyed this podcast, you're going to love the other podcasts here on the We Are Podcast Network. We have We Are Air, where we talk movies, entertainment, whatever the fuck we want to talk about. That's me, that's Jake, and that's Javi. We're breaking down that pop culture, and we're having so much fun. And don't forget to check out We Are Bagu, a video game podcast, where we talk Atari to Steam and everything in between. That's me and Dr. Ethan Eastwood breaking down all that video game lore. Heroes, Gyros, a Dungeons and Distractions side quest. Me and the boys were playing some D&D. You can start that one from Season 1, Episode 1. It's a blast the whole way through. And I Hate Being Sober. Personal stories from epic people. I sit down with some of my favorite people of all time. We talk about their trials, their tribulations, and their journey this far. Also, check the links in the description for our social media. You can find us at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at /We Are Podcast Network. With that said, hopefully we see you in the live stream.